called the 5-Star Shoutout. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in you can't make you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all. Good morning. What's going on, everybody out there? How y'all doing? How you doing today? We on the Side Jawn. I'm your host, Dennis Holmes, here with my co-host, the Chocolate Girl.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here. Happy Saturday. Glad to see you, Dennis, my wonderful, illustrious co-host up there in Philly.
Yeah.
I'm down here in the Bull City, North Carolina, Durham. Love it. Loving life. Glad to be here.
Okay. I ain't know it was known as the Bull City. All right.
Bull City. You got to do like this. Those are the horns, you know, bull.
Okay.
Bull City.
All right. Yeah. You learn something new every day. Never knew that.
Bull City. If you ever see anybody do this, they more than likely are from Durham. Okay. Unlike this right here, that's that Texas crap. We don't do this. No, we don't do that.
I know
Texas Longhorns.
Longhorns do this. Yeah.
The Wolfpack does this.
No, the Longhorns do this.
If the Longhorns do this, I ain't never see it. I always see this, and I don't like that. Either one, it ain't us. We do this. Bull City, stand up, y'all listening.
That's what's up. How was your week, Chocolate Girl?
I had a pretty good week. Slow motion, and I'm still trying to recover from some illnesses. Let me tell y'all something. I forgot to mention this last week. Let me tell y'all something. For those of you, listen closely. Come close to the screen and listen to my voice. For those of you who constantly say the pandemic is over, it is not. And guess what else? There is a huge uptick in COVID cases. I know because I finally got it. It finally caught up to me about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And now I'm still recovering all these weeks later. How did I get it? I went one place and did not wear my mask. I was there 3 hours, one time, and did not put my mask on. And came back with COVID.
Right.
Do not get complacent. Don't let your guard down, y'all. I'm telling you, that stuff is still out here. I know several people at my job have it, and we're working from home. We're not even in the office. So I don't know if you don't believe in masks, you think it's all a hoax, whatever. I'm here to tell you, it's not a hoax. Wear your doggone mask. But anyway, other than that, Dennis, I had a pretty good week, just still trying to recover, still taking that emergency and extra vitamins and drinking extra vitamin C and zinc and tea, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a little something going around the kitchen at my job. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm over here with the sniffles, coughing a little bit myself. Mm-hmm. Took a COVID test though. I'm cool. So you might hear me coughing and sniffling during the show. Just let y'all know. Little sick.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit.
I got my cough drops right here in my pocket, so I can pull one out if I need to. Got my water here. So
no, those are some of the things that I'm going through. But it's been a good week. And you know what's crazy about this COVID thing? A lot of people say it's over because ain't no money floating around. That's why a lot of people say it's over. Like ain't no money floating around.
Oh,
Ain't no
yeah.
money. Ain't no money floating around.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think the next time, about 3 weeks from now, we need to do a show about that money.
A lot
I
of
want
people.
you to, I want you to catch me up on some of those people you told me about a year and a half ago that was getting those PPP loans or whatever they were and did not have legitimate business. I want you to give me an update on some of these people.
They still don't know this update. They still. I'm waiting for them to go to jail. I really am. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just sitting here waiting for them to tell me that they got a letter or something saying that they got to pay something back. I'm waiting to hear this. I ain't hear nothing. I'm telling you, nothing. Like
Really? Wow.
nothing. And I'm just saying, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Sharon. There's sometimes I'm sitting there like I should have just filled that out. But here I am, trying not to get in no more trouble, trying not to be out here scamming, trying to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
They was out there giving enough money. They was giving up enough money out there that you could have went, bought a couple houses, and did what you needed to do.
You did the right thing, Dennis. You
And,
did the right thing. And let me tell you, I know I did the right thing because I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky like that.
yeah, I ain't either.
My lack of luck keeps me honest because I could be around 50 people that go and do one thing that's not right, and they will be successful and not caught. I step up and do the same thing, I'm caught. It's just the way it is. And I believe that that's favor from God because he's helping me to stay honest. So I'm honest. I am not going to fill that out. I did not have a documented, registered business at the time the pandemic hit. I was on hiatus anyway. So my relaunch came much later. Pandemic is over now. So according to the government pandemic is over.
Right.
The real pandemic is still here, folks. That's my message. But I'm glad you
And I
had
think it's gonna show up every winter. I really do think it's gonna show up every winter. So
well, the one big difference that I saw from this week, I was reading about the latest on COVID, is that the difference between COVID and the flu is there is a flu season where the flu comes. Normally the flu, influenza, not stomach flu, but the flu only comes in a certain period of time. Like between July and February or March. That's usually the flu season. COVID doesn't have a season. And that's what the scientist was saying. COVID doesn't have a season. It's all year long. So you can't rely on that. When they release a vaccine, just go get it. Now I have to wait 90 days now before I can get the latest vaccine because I had COVID. So I
you gonna
can't.
get another. How many vaccines have you got?
All of them but the last one that just came out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. But let me tell you something. My doctor did tell me, had I not kept up on my vaccines, I probably really would have been worse off because I was down. But if I hadn't had that vaccine, I would have been worse.
Sheesh. Yeah, I only got the 2 that was required. Because it was a big thing. Like, if you don't get these 2, you can't travel. You don't get these 2, you can't go nowhere. I still got the card in my wallet. Ain't nobody asked me for this card ever. Nobody. Nobody asked me for the card.
Yeah. So I think this is the 5th vaccine now because I've had 4. And this is the 5th one. I think that's right. It's either 4 or 5. So it's either 4 and I've had 3 or 5 and I've had 4. But I just have not taken this last one yet. I was supposed to get it in February, but now I gotta wait. Wow. I had to wait because they just got the vaccine in December, I think, at my doctor's office. And I don't want to go get it at a pharmacy. I don't want to go to like Walgreens or CVS because it's just a madhouse in there. So I was waiting for my doctor to get it in their office. But it's so expensive for places to carry it now that a lot of these smaller pharmacies are not giving them anymore. In fact, the pharmacy where I started getting them from, I didn't get them at my doctor's office. I started to get them at this pharmacy because I like to support my Black pharmacists. And he opted not to get it this time because it's too expensive to carry.
Yeah.
I had no idea that they were charging them to carry the vaccine. I had no clue. Didn't know.
So, but how was your week though? How was your week?
It was a good week. It was good. Just recovering. That's it. Every day I take my little victories every little day. If today I didn't cough, but a couple of hours in the day versus 4 hours in the day, then I felt like that's a victory.
Yes.
But these coughing spells, they come out of nowhere. And that's something else I heard that was different about the latest strand of COVID. Back before when COVID would first hit you, you could have chest pains and coughing and heavy symptoms in your chest. It's something with a lot of people now, including myself. When I first got COVID, I wasn't coughing at all. But
wow.
as I started recovering now, I'm starting to cough. I started getting these coughing spells, chest pain, difficulty breathing. As I was getting better and the other symptoms were receding. Weird. It's just weird.
It is. It is. And when did you know that you had it?
The day I woke up and couldn't get out of bed. So let me say this. I caught it on one day. I know the day I caught it. And they tell you within 2 days you start having symptoms whenever you catch it. I started that 2 days later, that evening, right before I went to bed, I realized how bad I was feeling. And I went to bed early, super early, like 8:00. I got up the next morning. I could not get out. I literally could not get out of bed.
Yeah,
Text my boss from the bed. Yeah. It was that. I mean, it hit me like a truck. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everything worked out. I'm glad you fought through it. You're a hell of a fighter. You're a hell of a fighter, chocolate girl. You're a hell of a fighter.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, honey. Thank you. And again, as I said last week, thank you so much for holding down the Side Jawn. Those 2 Saturdays I had to miss. I just couldn't ask for a better partner doing this podcast thing. And love you for it, man. Love you for it.
So we got a new segment that we introducing out here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a top 5 segment. And, today we said we was going to do top 5s, but we was going to do our top 5s on the top 5 podcasts that we listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot of podcasts I listen to, so to narrow it down to 5 was like kind of hard for me. I'll let you know that. Kind of hard.
Yeah, it was hard for me. So on my little list, I have some. What do you call those honorable mentions?
Right.
Like 6 through 10.
Yeah, or a tie. Yeah. But you was going to tell us about, who are the top podcasts right now from Spotify.
Yeah, so I was doing my research. You know how I like to do research before our shows. And I was curious because when you hear people talk about podcasting and they talk about what is the number 1 podcast that's out right now, everybody says it's the Joe Rogan Experience. Right? That's what everybody says. Okay? So what I decided to do is to look at for 2023, how did everybody finish for 2023? So according to Descript.com, this is their 15 most listened to podcasts. So I'm gonna go 15 to 1. 15 this past weekend with Theo Von. I've never heard it. Have you ever heard that? I haven't heard that. Impulsive with Logan Paul.
Yeah, I heard that.
Serial, which is about serial killers. Why?
Well, the murder. Well, this is what I've learned. The murder mystery podcast is a big seller, but we don't have any Black people talking about unsolved murder mysteries in that department. And actually, when I went to the PodCon with Wallow and Charlamagne the God, that was one of the big things Charlamagne the God was talking about. He was like, all y'all know some killers, and ain't none of y'all got a podcast about murder mystery.
You mean like unsolved mysteries?
Well, that and like true crimes. Let's say that true crimes. Let's just say true crimes. True crimes. That's what he was saying. He was like, that's a big lane to be in.
Well, this podcast serial, that's serial SERIAL, that's number 13, is about serial killers. I don't want to do podcasts on serial killers. They're twisted, and I just don't want to hear twisted behavior. I just don't. But it's number 13 according to Descript.com, and 12 is Morbid, which is a true crime podcast. So there is one. I guess it's not talking about black crime or white crime or whatever. It's probably talking about all crime. But anyway, Morbid. 11 was Two Bears, One Cave. Have no idea what these are about, y'all. 9, Office Ladies. I've heard of Office Ladies. I've never watched it. 8, The Ben Shapiro Show. That's a podcast I will never watch because Ben Shapiro is a MAGA supporting crazy person, in my opinion. So no, I'm not watching that. 7, Stuff You Should Know. Now, Stuff You Should Know is it's an interesting one because they do talk about all kinds of topics on things that the average person probably doesn't know and needs to know. And I've watched maybe 2 or 3 of those. 6, I was surprised about. Dateline NBC. It's good to see that a regular old network show is still up in the running on this list. I was happy about that. 5 was Call Her Daddy. I don't know what that's about. I didn't look it up. I'm imagining by the name, it's a single mom podcast. That's what I'm guessing. I just don't know. 4 is This American Life. 3 is The Daily. 2 is Crime Junkie. And the 1 was the Joe Rogan Experience. That's according to Descript.com. I had never heard of Descript.com when I found this list, but I thought I'd do it because when I searched on Google, it was the number 1 list that came up. Even before Apple Pod, Spotify, or anyone else, this one came up on the Google search. I'm like, okay, so most people must be looking at this because that's the order that the SEO will have it in. So that's the reason why I put that down. Now, here's Apple's top 10. Stuff You Should Know, Hidden Brain, Huberman Lab, Up First, Morbid, This American Life, Smartless, Dateline NBC, The Daily, and Crime Junkie. You heard some of the same ones you heard on the first list, right? But right. Here's Spotify's. Spotify's is TED Talks Daily. Very good podcast. The Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Serial, as in serial killers. This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn. Crime Junkie. On Purpose with Jay Shetty. Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain. Huberman Lab. Call Her Daddy, and the Joe Rogan Experience. So Joe Rogan is not on the list for Apple. Now, these are the shows that are on all 3 of these lists.
Right? Oh, I know why he's not on the list for Apple. Because he's signed to Spotify.
Right. I was going to say that. That's the only reason why he's not on there. If he hadn't had an exclusive deal of some type,
right,
he would probably be on both lists, I would imagine. But
he'd be on.
But these are on at least 2 of these 3 lists. Well, here's the ones that's on all 3 lists. Huberman Lab. Oh, I'm sorry. The Apple and Spotify have these in common. Huberman Lab, Crime Junkie, and This Past Weekend. I've never watched any of those. So, and none of these podcasts that's on this top 10 or 15 list are in my top 5 or 10. I don't listen to him. Not a fan of Joe Rogan. Are you a fan of Joe Rogan?
I think he's all right, but I'm not sitting there listening to him for 3 hours.
Yeah, a clip is about all I can stand from him because usually we don't agree on whatever it is he's talking about. Yeah, but that's just the facts, man.
Yeah, I'm not really mad if I don't agree with you. I just need to see where is your point of view coming from. That
Hmm.
was always my thing. Like at first, like even like I tell you about Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless be saying some things. I'd be like, "Where's he get?" So then one day I just sat back and I just really paid attention to what he was talking about. I was like, okay, that's how he twists his point of view. Okay,
Hmm.
I see it now. I understand. I got it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's okay to understand. Nothing wrong with understanding. Just
Long as your point is understandable, okay, I'm cool. I'll listen to you. I'm not gonna sit
Mhm.
there and say, "Oh no, I don't like him. I ain't watching." Because I used to hear people say that all the time about First Take and Undisputed. Oh, I can't stand them. And then be like, I can't wait to watch it tomorrow. Like what?
See, this is something that I've been meaning to say to you. You know, people often say that when people get on these comments and they talk about how stupid the host is or how much they don't like them, blah 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 blah, and people say, "Well, you can scroll by and not watch it." This is the issue. It's not that people shouldn't watch if they don't like it, because they don't only watch because they like it. You don't only watch things because you like it. You watch for various reasons, and sometimes it's just to hear a different perspective, like you were saying. Sometimes it's just so you can know what the opposing view is, so you can prepare yourself when you hear these arguments later on. That's me. I didn't
Okay.
always agree with Skip, but I would record Undisputed every day and watch it later. Every day.
Yeah,
I'm a
I've always
ESPN girl. I'm not a FS1 girl at all, but I record some of their shows because I want to know what their perspective is. Nick Wright gets on my nerves, but I want to hear what his perspective is. And I use some of the things that he says in my arguments against things he says. So, you know, you don't, it's not that we watch only the things that we like, is my point. So people need to stop saying that. Oh, well, then don't watch it. Why are you watching? You must like it. No, it's not that I like it. It's for information only. FIO.
all I'm saying is if you're that in tune to the information, there's no need for you to say nothing bad about it. I can't stand it. You need the information. You're gonna be watching. But let's go. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do 5 through 1, right?
5 through 1. You start.
Okay, I'll start. I'm gonna go. I want to go a little bit. I'll go traditional 5 through 1 on what I listen to on a daily basis. Um, Number 5, I'm going to say is New Heights. Jason and Travis Kelsey, New Heights.
Ooh, I
New
like
news.
that. I like that. Yeah,
Yes.
this dude, let's just do one at a time and let's talk about it. I like New Heights. I like that.
Yeah,
I
I think
like it.
they
It's not on my top 5 yet, but it's quickly getting up there.
they really have a really good show going.
Mm-hmm.
I like the stories that they have behind it. I like how they are talking about things that go on during the week that we ain't supposed to hear about in the locker room. So that's a pretty good show to me. I make sure I tune into that each and every week. Another show I want to say is The Pivot. The Pivot be number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pivot. Not only do they do shows by themselves, but they also interview a lot of people. People I didn't expect them to be interviewing, but they interview a lot of people. A lot of people get a lot of good interviews going. So that'd be number 4. Number 3 is All the Smoke. All the Smoke is interviewing just about everybody that the Pivot is interviewing, but a little bit differently. And they're asking questions that are a little bit out of control as well. So I give
So
them that.
how are they different?
Well, the difference is, you know, on the Pivot, Channing Crowder is the crazy one on the show. Like you're expecting to hear something crazy from him. A lot of people don't like him, but he's gonna say something crazy that's gonna have you like, what? He does it every time. He's good at it. Does it
Yeah.
every time. He is the funny one. On All the Smoke, it's kind of crazy because they get stories that you ain't never even known happened. Mm-hmm. Especially those basketball stories, And a lot of times they're involved in the story.
Lots of times, yeah.
And I'll be like, how the hell?
Especially Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson always got a good story.
Yeah.
I remember that time but then when Matt Barnes comes out with his, I'm like, oh, it's usually deep, like some layers to it. Like stuff I had never heard of before.
Number 2 is Drink Champs. Drink Champs, with that, so what I like that they do is they bring back legends from hip hop, put them on a show, and then you'll hear some stories or some things about them that you never even knew. And a lot of them get so drunk that they start telling things that they ain't supposed to be telling.
It's funny to me. I like Nori as a host. He's funny. I like him more as a host than I did a rapper, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like them. I like them in almost everything. I like them rapping, acting.
I like him rapping, but I like him more as a host. Yeah, he does a good job on that show. When I first heard the concept, I'm like, I don't want to see people smoking weed and drinking on camera. I'm like, that got to be out of control. Then I started watching clips from the show. And I said, well, okay, let me just start watching the whole show. And now I like it. Do you know what their number one most watched episode of all time since they've had that show is?
Probably that Kanye West episode.
That's exactly it. It still is. Nobody's been higher still than that one.
Yeah. Kanye went a little crazy. It was a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back for a 3rd episode, but then they had to delete that one. So wasn't working right. And then the book stands delete that one. So
did you watch the 2?
I watched the 2. I don't watch the 3rd one. I watched all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me what was my favorite, I think my favorite Drink Champs episode was probably, I'm going to have to say it was either Scarface or probably Irv Gotti.
Oh.
Yeah, Irv Gotti.
That Irv Gotti next to Kanye is probably my least favorite.
Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti, when he tell a story about Gilbert Arenas going down and messing up his chance to win $150,000 or something like that. Yeah.
I was like, where my little violin out? Can I get my violin out?
Yeah.
I just do not like him as a person. I just don't like him. I never have.
Okay. All right.
He right up there with Dame Dash to me. They both down there where they belong to me. Ugh. Grimy.
Yeah, they do act alike, so I understand.
They do. Grimy.
And it seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed like that's just how they all act. Once they get to that top down and start making that money, they start to get real arrogant and they start acting like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I see it.
I guess money can change people.
Maybe so.
I always say if I had it like that, I wouldn't change, but you just never know.
Yeah. The number one I'm going to say is $1 million worth of game.
It's still that, huh?
Yeah.
That's still your favorite.
Still my favorite.
So out of Gillian and Wallow, which one do you like more?
That's a good question. That is a good question. Because I think that they both funny as hell. So it's like, I don't know.
And they're blood cousins, right? Aren't they cousins?
Yeah. They blood cousins. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's hard to choose, isn't it? Because there's things I like about both of them. And then there's things I don't like about both of them.
Right. That's a good question.
Because like Gilly, I feel like he gets out on his cousin too much. It's like he tries to embarrass him more than Rollo
Oh
does.
no, Wallow get his ass back. Oh, he get his
He
back.
does, but not as
He
bad.
called him.
I mean,
He called him a broke ass rapper. Oh man, he be getting him back. He said all
he
you used to do
does.
was bar tours and block parties. You get
He
him
does.
back.
He get him back, but I still feel like if I had to say who Jones more and who Jones, more and just harder, I'd have to say it's Gilly though.
Yeah, you get him back. I would probably have more fun with Gilly because me and him could talk sports. Marlon don't really talk sports, so
That doesn't mean he don't know it. He just doesn't talk it. Is that what you mean?
right. He don't like. He really don't care for sports. Like he know the
Oh,
people,
okay.
so he'll help root for them and he'll talk to them. Keep them encouraged. But to
Uh-huh.
sit there and watch it and talk about X and O's, he ain't doing all
He ain't doing that. Not his thing.
that.
Well,
No.
I know they paid. I know that. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's
How
definitely
long you
true.
been watching their podcast?
Since the first show,
How long ago has that been?
uh, April 2019, I think it is.
Okay, because I didn't, because I had never watched them until you started telling me about it, and
Yeah, April 2019.
I started listening to it on Spotify, and I had this, my notifications set up to get notified whenever they post new content, and all of a sudden, every Sunday night, consistently, bloop,
Yeah,
$1 million worth of game, bloop. So I would end up playing it on my way to sleep every Sunday night, and and the only thing I used to say to you is they just cuss too much on the show. It's just too much cussing for me. But
now they bleep the cussing out.
yeah,
I
I
noticed
was
when
gonna
you
say
told me
that.
that,
Yeah,
and I was like, they bleeping the cussing. I said, whoa. I had to
yeah.
sit back and listen to it. Oh, they bleeping the cussing out, so cussing must be a big thing, huh?
Well, I'm sure it's about the money. When you start making those deals, somebody must have said something. It must have come from somewhere. Okay. And they felt like for the betterment of their deal, they had to do it. But they used to, yeah, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, cussing people cuss. Okay, I'm not a prude or anything, but dang, I was like, oh my god. There was sometimes they would cuss so much, I would lose track of what they were trying to say because it was just so many cuss words. I couldn't fit. I couldn't follow. I'm like, oh, okay, what you say? Do you have an all-time favorite $1 million worth of game episode?
Yeah, probably when I think it was the first episode Tony the Closer was on there.
Who?
And he was Tony the Closer. He came on there and he was talking about a famous rapper in Philly had sex with his girl. They came to find out it was Meek Mills. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
send you the clip. When you see the clip, you're gonna be like, "What?"
What's his name? The closer. What's his name?
Tony, Tony the Closer. He
Who
from
is
he
he?
from North Carolina.
I don't know who that is.
Well,
Now
I ain't
is
gonna say he
this
from North Carolina. He
is
live in
this
North
not
Carolina.
this is not the same guy that was talking about somebody beating him for money, was it?
Yeah, same guy. Same
Oh,
guy.
same guy. Okay. Yeah, you were telling me about it. Okay, same guy. All right.
Same guy. He was going at DJ Envy not too long ago because he said DJ Envy was out there burning people for their money. He was going at Big Business because he said Big Business was out there burning people for their money. He was going at another guy too. He was just going back and forth with him.
Did
And he was
did
telling
DJ
everybody you got to
Envy
stop.
did DJ Envy get that situation straightened out? He was arrested, wasn't he?
He must have, because he's still in the Breakfast Club, so
Yeah,
everything
he's
must have
still
worked out.
there. Yeah, he's still there.
And
DJ.
And that Just Hilarious situation seemed like that one ended.
Yeah.
Because at first it was all good. The next thing you know, I guess the contract wasn't right. So then it didn't end right. And I think it was to the point that it was in the contract that she couldn't do other things that she wanted to do. And for the paper that they was paying, she still wanted to go pursue other things. That's what I feel. I didn't see the contract, but that's just what I feel. I feel
Yeah,
as though the contract was putting her
she's
in a.
not on there now.
No, she'll be there Monday.
Oh, she's coming back?
Yeah, she'll be there Monday.
Okay, because I knew I watched it all week and I didn't see her.
Yeah, she'll be there Monday. That's why I say this. It must have been something in the contract that was putting her in a box.
I could imagine that.
And when you're a content creator, it's cool to be on the radio and make the radio money. Nothing against that, but at the same time, you still want to go out and do what you want to do. Because you don't know how long this radio money gonna last.
True.
Breakfast Club been going on for what, 13 years now.
Long
it ain't guaranteed they're gonna go for 20.
That's true.
So you gotta look at your options. Like, yo, I'm happy to be here. I'm gonna do my best I can on this job, but I gotta start making my money over here so I can secure my future.
Exactly. And then they should not want to keep her from that. They should be encouraging her to do that. Because if you got somebody popping over here and you have them on your show, that's more credibility for your show.
Maybe it's more odds for you to get, the whole show in trouble. And some people look at things differently. You know how they say once you what they usually say at the job, once you're working for this job, you can't work for a certain competitor or whatever.
Yeah. Non-compete.
Right.
Non-compete clause. I get it.
So her doing, I don't think it's going to be her doing a podcast is going to stop her from a non-complete clause because that don't make sense because, well, no, it might make sense. Wait a minute. I think it might make sense. Wait a minute.
No, it doesn't because Charlamagne has his own show where he does one-on-one interviews.
Well, iHeart.
Yeah. It's a good show. Yeah. I've seen it a couple times. I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's a pretty good show. I've seen it.
Yeah, I think it's called Brilliant Idiots. I think that's what it's called, Brilliant Idiots.
So, hey, I'm good with it. So, to recap your 5 now, again, what did you say?
What was my 5? What was number 5? The Kelseys. New Heights. Number 4.
Heights. New Heights.
New Heights, The Pivot, All the Smoke, Drink Champs, $1 Million Over Game. There you go.
All right. Ready for my list?
Ready for your list.
Okay. We have a couple of the same. So my number 5 is Nightcap.
Yeah.
I like Nightcap. That Nightcap came out and just took over everything for me, just about. I really like it. And to me, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco makes the show for me. I mean, Shannon Sharper's cool. Everybody say they love Uncle Shay Shay, and they can call him Unc and all that. Whatever. I don't call him that. I call him Shannon. But to me, Chad makes the show. I mean, he's so honest, but he's so naive about things. It is just so funny to me because he'd be like, wait a minute, what does that mean? And I'm thinking, Chad really he's not about that Hollywood life. He's not. He is so plain and simple, like the guy next door, driving around in one of them little smart car things. He literally does drive around in that. That's just not for PR. He literally drives that.
Got him a EV.
Yeah, and he does not have no high-end car.
I think he said he had an EV since 2008.
Yeah. It's a little smart car. It's little. It's really little. Just saw a picture of him in it this week. Standing by it. Whatever. But anyway, actually seems literally he seems genuinely shocked by some of the things that Shannon says when he's on there. Because Shannon says some outrageous stuff when he's on that nightcap. I'm just looking at him like, I see why you single. I think I told you that before. Because well, anyway, I like it because they discuss more than just sports. I lean, more to Chad's opinion, but I can see why Shannon is single because some of the things that he says about dating and women, he's so chauvinistic to me and antiquated. He talks way too much about sex and how he puts it down and how much he likes it and gotta have it. I find.
He also make sure he mentions the blue diamonds too.
But I find most men who talk on their whatever are really not quite that great. That's what I've heard.
I've heard that story a lot.
I've heard that. If you know you good, you ain't got to talk about it. You don't have to speak on it all the time.
And girls also told me that if you talk about eating it a lot, you coming up short.
Right. Now that, again, I'm going to ask you where you get these women from that you deal with that tell you these things because
that was sweet love. That was sweet love.
I'm just saying, I don't believe that one.
That was sweet love. If they always talk about eating it, they coming up short.
Oh well,
that was sweet love. That was sort of sweet love.
I'll put it this way. That has not been my experience. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. But anyway, number 4 is Stephen A. Smith's show. I watch it every day. Every single day. In fact, I watch his podcast now more than I watch him on First Take. Because I actually like hearing him talk about more than just sports. I like hearing what he has to say about it. He's another person that I often disagree with what he's saying, but I love the way he says it. So there's 3 main things I really love about Stephen A. Smith. One is just the way he talks. I know some people don't like it. They say he's too loud and all that, but he reminds me of my father. I'm gonna be honest with you. My father, when he used to talk, when he used to speak, if he was, especially when he was excited about something, he would talk so loud. He had a booming voice, but he wasn't loud to be obnoxious. He was loud because he was excited. And that's just how his voice was. It just carried. And that's just the way it was. So for me, I'm not bothered by somebody who talks loud the way he talks loud. He's not barking. See, Shannon Sharp, when he talks loud, he's barking. I don't feel Stephen A. Smith barks when he speaks loud like that. It's a difference to me. I don't like Shannon's loud. I like Stephen A. Smith's loud. But anyway, I love the way he says things. I love the way that he loved his mother. He talks about his mother the way I talk about my parents. And I can relate to that. So that means something to me. And the third reason why I like him so much is because he is truly a professional journalist. And he shows it. And he's a prolific writer. I have gone back and read some of his articles in his career, and he is a fantastic writer. So I people say what they want about him, but I love him. So number 4, do you ever watch his talk show, his podcast?
Yeah. I gotta go see the one with Kevin Garnett on there, and he had somebody else on there the other day. Can't think of who it was, but he had somebody else on there the other day. I gotta go watch that one.
It's a good podcast. I like it. All right, so number 3, this is where my list and your list coincide right here. Number 3 is All the Smoke. I love that podcast too. I like the chemistry between Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I love it when they share their personal stories, when the guests are talking and they come up with these questions given what they experienced in the NBA themselves. Now I'm not people appear to just be free to tell them all kind of stuff on All the Smoke. So what you said about them is right. They put a little sauce on it, right, when they're talking about these things. But I'm not thrilled by the smoking weed references, all the smoke with the smoke rings and all that. But I love their content. I also like how they rock with Rachel Nichols. I felt like Rachel Nichols was given a bad rap by ESPN and by the black community. I felt like we did her wrong. I do, collectively. That whole situation with her and Rhea, I felt like that was taken all wrong, and I didn't like it. And I like the way that they stuck by Rachel, and they still cool with her now. They still down with her now, and I like it. So
yeah,
I like that. And my favorite, do you have a favorite All the Smoke episode? I'm gonna tell you mine. My favorite All the Smoke episode is the one that they did on Allen Iverson. It was so real and honest, and I love AI being interviewed anywhere. Anytime there's an interview with him, I'm watching it and loving it because I love him so much. But I could tell he really enjoys sitting down, kicking it with them. He respects them and they respect him, and they gave him his flowers. Anytime he can get his flowers, I want to see that. And I just love hearing him tell his stories, how much he loved Kobe Bryant, how he doesn't like how people don't give him his credit. All of that I can relate to. So what's your favorite do you have a favorite All the Smoke episode?
Al Jefferson. Al
Jefferson? Really?
Al Jefferson.
What about that makes it your favorite?
When he was talking about how he gave his grandma some weed, and he gave his grandma some weed because he was telling her that it looked, it helped your vision and everything. She couldn't see that well. So his grandma was like, "Boy, you talking about reefer?" He was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I ain't smoking no reefer." So he gave her the reefer in the bag or whatever. And when he gave her the reefer in the bag, he fell asleep.
I saw it. It was funny.
So he went to go check on her, make sure she wasn't tripping. And when he went to check on her, she was reading the Bible, and she was crying. He was like, "Grandma, you all right?" She was like, "I haven't read the words of my Bible for 3 years."
Oh wow!
That's why he named his company Viola.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part. The other part is when they talk about the fight they got into in Indiana. I didn't know they got in that fight. That's how lost his teeth. Didn't know none of that.
Now I didn't hear the fight. I'm gonna have to look at that again because I didn't hear that story.
Yeah,
I just saw the clip of him talking about his mom. I saw that.
Yeah, that was his grandma, but
his grandma. Yeah.
The fight that they got into in Indiana caused Steven Jackson to lose his teeth.
Oh, so that's why he got them veneers up front and the fake.
Yeah.
Because he got a beautiful smile now.
Yeah. Caused him to lose his teeth.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one because I don't think I saw the entire episode.
Yeah, they was coming out this club, and Al Jefferson left first. And after Al Jefferson left, Steven Jackson left. But as Steven Jackson leaving, he look in his rearview mirror, Jamal Tinsley in the fight. So now Steven Jackson backs up. He goes out there to see what's going on with Jamal Tinsley. Next thing you know, a car comes by and hits Steven Jackson. He flips in the air, falls dead on his face. Then they got into a big fight. You gotta go listen to it. They got into a big fight. Yeah.
Who hit him with the car?
But the boys that he was fighting, that's who hit him.
Oh wow. Damn. Okay. Well, all right. I have to go back and listen to that one. I did not listen to that whole thing. Maybe I should have. Because I do watch most of their episodes all the way through, but I had to go. I had to research the clips.
If it was the number 2, besides Al Jefferson, it's probably going to be what's the coach from Sacramento name? Mike Brown.
Mike
Brown.
That's a good episode.
That was funny too.
That was a good episode, especially when Steven Jackson was talking about the Malice in the Palace, and he came back in there.
Right. I didn't even know Mike Brown was there.
Yeah, man, he was assistant on the bench. He was an assistant. And
I gotta start paying attention to these assistant coaches, man, because I didn't even know Mike Brown was there.
Yeah, he was there. He came in there, man. When I tell you, y'all hit me.
Right. He said that
Yeah,
we
the
come in
malice
there.
in the
All
palace.
right, motherfuckers. If I push y'all back, don't y'all go swinging at me either. I took an elbow to the face.
Yeah, that was so funny. That's a good episode. But let me see. I love Alan, but I think there was one. Well, I like the one that they did with Rachel after the whole Maria Taylor thing. Yeah, I like that one too. But anyway, number 2. Now, this is one I was shocked you didn't say. But this is still my number 2 podcast. It hasn't moved. Nobody has overtaken him, really. It's still my number 2. And that is Knuckleheads. Love Knuckleheads. With
Look, I
Quentin
haven't seen
Richardson
nothing
and
new from
Darius
Knucklehead.
Miles. Huh?
I haven't seen nothing new from Knuckleheads, but they be getting some street ball stories that be crazy too.
Oh yeah, they post all they still posting new episodes. I love it, and I catch it every week.
And I forgot that I forgot how close St. Louis is to Chicago. That's what I forgot. I forgot how close St. Louis is to Chicago because I ain't from the area, so I wouldn't know unless I look at a map. That's why they so tight.
Well, they've been friends all their life, practically.
Yeah.
And they tell the truth. To me, they are so honest in their podcast, and they allow their guests to be brutally honest. I love that. But the thing that I love the most is they always start their interview with who's the first one to bust your ass when you came into the league. I love it. Hearing those stories are just so, it's just dope to me. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Love it. And I have to say,
who's your number 1?
First, they don't I like them also because they don't try to sound like they're journalists. They speak like they just rolled out their mama and them's house, and they're on their podcast, and they don't try to be something they're not. I love that. I love their authenticity. They keep their natural swag, and they still do amazing interviews. Their questions, I don't know who's writing all these questions. I was told that Q writes most of the questions. That's what I was told, but I don't know. But they come up with some questions that I don't hear other people ask.
Yes.
And I love that about
them. I like them.
I have 2 favorites. With the Knuckleheads. Well, my absolute favorite is the one they did not too long ago on Cheryl Miller. And for people who do not know who Cheryl Miller is, she's the sister of Reggie Miller. And to me, Cheryl Miller is the queen of women's basketball, the greatest woman basketball player I have ever seen in my life. She just is. She is number 1. She beats any of them bras that played in the WNBA. Unfortunately for her, she had gotten out of playing. She got really hurt, and she couldn't play anymore before the WNBA even came into existence. That's the only reason why she's not in there.
Right.
If it had come about 10 years earlier, she'd probably hold all the doggone records because she was a beast, man. I still haven't seen anybody outplay that woman. Greatest ever to me. But anyway, that was my favorite. And I have to say the one what they did with Kobe was another one. I would say on All the Smoke, the one they did with Kobe would be my next favorite behind Allen Iverson too. I think that All the Smoke interview was the last one he did before he passed away.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that hurts. But my number 1. Oh, which do you ever watch? You don't watch Knuckleheads? You don't watch?
I watch Knuckleheads. My favorite episode of Knuckleheads is probably gonna be with what is his name? It's Hedo Turkoglu.
Why do you think that's gonna be your favorite?
No, I watched it already. That was my favorite.
That is your favorite. Okay.
That is my favorite. Yeah. Hedo.
Why is
I didn't know Hedo was that crazy. That's why. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you did find out that he has more personality than you thought. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It was a good interview.
That team was full of personality. You got Chris Webber, Lottie Divac, Hedo Turkoglu, and Jason Williams. White chocolate. Like that's a lot of personality on one team. But they did pretty good. And you got Doug Christie and his wife going in as well.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah. But you know what? He perpetuates her craziness though. He does.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working for him. I think they still
married.
They
still married. They still going strong. Married. And they still have a wedding renew their vows every year.
They still do it every year?
They still do it.
Shit.
Yep. But my number one, it's not a sports podcast.
That's good.
My number one podcast is still Comedy Hype News. I still love it. Hosted by a woman named Symphony Thompson, who I had never heard of until this podcast, but Black woman hosting. She seems to have had some broadcasting training. She knows what she's doing. She's very professional. Her delivery is excellent. I love everything about her. And whoever produces the show, they come up with fantastic content. Her co-stars are Pierre, you know, the comedian Pierre and Capone. And they're always on there. And then they have others that come in and out that appear on there. But they always get their opinion on stuff that's happening now in the comedy industry. And so hearing comics talk about other comics with no shade is so refreshing to me. It's not shade. They're not on there to shade anybody. They literally stick to the topic, and you can tell that they have made a decision on that show that they're not going to just be on there slamming people. Like, they don't make jokes about them and stuff. You know how most comedians, when they talk, they can't talk without making a joke about the person. Right. They don't do that. They seriously report on it. It's a news show. And they discuss issues. And they're so serious with it. And this whole Cat Williams nonsense didn't make me change my feelings about the comedy industry. I love hearing comics talk about them with no shade, and I still do. And he didn't change my mind about that at all. But this is still my favorite podcast to watch. I never miss an episode. I'll end up watching some of the episodes more than once. I just really love it. Just do. Do you ever watch it?
No.
You should. You got to start watching it, Dennis. I think you will find it.
I watched Pierre's show, but I never watched Pierre
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. I never watched Pierre and Capone together.
You got to watch it. It's very, very good. And they, like I said, they find topics that a lot of people don't even know is really going on right now. And they bring it out to the forefront. And you're like, what? I never knew that. Oh, yeah, they're cousins. Oh, what? I didn't know that comedians cousins. You know, it's just really fascinating. I would invite you to watch it sometime and tell me what you think about it. Watch it. Give them 3. I always tell you, at least watch 3 episodes and then tell me what you think.
Send me the link. I'll watch.
All right, I'll do that. But I got some honorable mentions.
I got a lot of them.
Well, honorable mentions to me, I consider honorable mentions those that could have been slid into the top 5, but there's certain subtle reasons why they weren't. So I don't have a whole lot, but I consider these like my 6 through 10 shows somewhere in there. But I have The Breakfast Club. I love The Breakfast Club. We were just talking about them. Jalen Rose TV. You know, he started out with the Renaissance Man. I used to talk to you about that all the time.
I saw the show he did with Birdman. Just saw that one.
Yeah, that was good. Him and Birdman. In fact, I didn't know some of the things Birdman was saying. I was like, what? Blew my mind. And I've seen him interview before. But Jalen got some things out of him I had never seen him talk about. But it was really, really good. But anyway, he started out with the Renaissance Man podcast that was produced by the New York Post, right? And then after he left ESPN, for some reason, right after he left, he got fired from ESPN. All of a sudden, there weren't any more episodes of Renaissance Man. I thought that was kind of odd. But
He
the
probably
next
left
thing
both
I
of them.
know, huh?
He probably left both of them.
I don't know. I guess so, because he still has his Renaissance Man podcast, but it's not under them. But he's now calling it Jalen TV. So his network now is called Jalen TV. It's smart to put your name on it. I remember when Stephen A. Smith changed the name of his podcast to the Stephen A. Smith Show. It was a thing to
Right.
do. You got to
It's
have your
called No
name
Mercy
on
at
that.
first. Yeah,
Huh?
it's called No Mercy. It was called No Mercy at first.
Right. And I'm glad that he changed it. I didn't like No Mercy anyway. I didn't like that name. But anyway, because it reminded me too much of No Mercy in the Undisputed theme song that Lil Wayne used to do. Because he used to say, "No mercy, no mercy." And I didn't like that. I didn't like Stephen A. having that in his as the name of his podcast. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm glad he changed it. But I also love hearing Jalen talk about what's going on at the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, his school up there in Detroit, and what he's doing with that. So I love Jalen TV. Club Shay Shay. Neither one of us mentioned the Club Shay Shay. I like Club Shay Shay, but the main reason why Club Shay Shay is not in my top 5 is because I hate the name. I hate that name. I think I told you that. I have always said it sounds too feminine to me. And he's too much of a big old brute of a man to have people calling him Shay Shay. I don't like it.
I like that one though. That's an honorable mention. That's an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention. So
for me, the pivot, I had the pivot as an honorable mention. They're not in my top 5, but the reason why they're even so high is due to Ryan Clark. And I love Ryan Clark so much. I like Fred, okay? I'm not a big fan of Channing Crowder, as you heard me say, but as time has gone on, though, he's gotten a little better to me. I'm starting to understand him better. I'm starting to accept him better.
It's not as deep as you made it, but I understood where you came from. See, that's what I always say. If you got an opinion, just make your opinion make sense so I can understand where you're coming from. That's all I ever say. It's not as deep as you made it, but I understand where you're coming from.
It was as deep as it was. That, and you said it yourself. He is the crazy one.
Yeah. You need because you can't just have.
That's all I told you. He's crazy.
But you can't just have a show. This is why I say this. You can't just have a show where you got Ryan Clark, who is like the professional and the broadcaster. He's like the big host. But then you got Fred Taylor, who is like the calm, cool, collective one. If it was just them two, it wouldn't set it off. He is the cayenne pepper.
I agree. I agree. The recipe works. It's perfect. But what I'm saying is some of the things that man has let come out of his mouth are disturbing to me. That's what I was saying to you. It's some of the stuff that he says is like, ooh, he a little too freaky for me or something. He a little out there for me. And sometimes he gives the impression like he ain't got them all. Then come to find out, the man is brilliant.
Yeah.
In college, his GPA was some crazy number. And people
don't let that fool you.
Some of his teammates describe him as one of the most intelligent people they know.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so let me just give this brother another chance. That's what made me keep on listening to it, trying not to hold these things he says against him. And I've, over time he's grown on me. He's a little better. Only thing I know is whoever braids his hair, they on point. Whoever styles his hair be on point. Even though
now I see him transform it into more so having his own cooking products now. He
Oh,
got his
really?
own. Yeah, he got his own part-time cooking show. I see where they
Oh,
going with this.
okay. Wait a minute. I think I did see like a clip or something of that, but I didn't catch the name of it, so I could look it up again. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So I'll do that. But anyway, I still watch I Am Athlete. I still watch it. They call it something else. They don't use that name that
No,
much
they
anymore.
call it the paper route.
The
Paper route.
paper route. And I still watch it and I still love it. I still love Brandon. I think that if somebody were to sit down with them and work, they could work it out, but they're not going to because they're too prideful. They're not going to do it. Neither side. And I'm not putting this all on Brandon. I like his content. I like the interviews. I
But it
still do.
okay, I'm gonna let you finish. Then I'm gonna tell you my
No,
side.
I'm done. I'm still do.
Uh, this okay. This is my thing on it, right? Um, when it comes to business, you got to get the business aspect right. And I'm saying this to everybody, not just Brandon. This is to everybody. Like you can't just be putting it in one person's hands because you say you trust him, and then if he break your trust, now y'all ain't speaking for 4 years. You know what I mean? That's what you can't do. So if y'all gonna be in business together, you need to be at these business meetings with him. You need to see, hey, is this the right decision we gonna make? You need to be involved. You don't need to be no solid partner because obviously that didn't work out for you.
Exactly. I
That's more so
agree.
what I'm saying.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Now, as far as it's going, Brandon Marshall, on the other hand, this is the part that I look at and I'll be like, he might have messed up on a lot because I feel as though, what like you look around and you see the pivot, paper route, I am athlete. You got Cam Newton got his own podcast. All of this could have been under I am athlete. This
Mm-hmm.
could have been 4 or 5 shows in I am athlete, and if you got 5% from each show, you'd have been counting money and eating chicken wings all this time.
Barbecue chicken.
You understand? But you
Mm-hmm.
let ego and laziness. That's what I think it is. Ego and laziness get into all of this, and now everybody got an attitude.
I agree. I think we see it the same way, Dennis. I really do. We see it the
And
same way.
sometimes I believe that the beef. So I'll be honest with you, Sharon. I don't believe all these beefs be real. I believe the beef be made up so everybody can
Sometimes.
split up and make money. Split up and make money that way. I do believe that. I felt that way with Joe Buttons when he broke up with his two homies, Maul and Rolly. I forgot. I think his name Rolly. But he broke up with them too. I felt that way when what you call broke up when I Am Athlete broke up. I felt that way with this Just Hilarious thing. I ain't think this was a whole big beef. And the way she going about it on social media. I didn't believe all this. I don't be believing all these beefs. I really don't.
I don't either.
I believe that they be made up so more money, more attention comes to both podcasts. Now you're sitting there watching both of them. The next thing you know, years later, they all gonna come back together.
I agree with you on that too. I agree with you on that. I'm not sure if this one right here was made up, but I do believe that beefs are made up often just to make money. I really do. But anyway, another one of my honorable mentions, my last one I'm gonna go over is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie.
I don't know that
I
one.
love this podcast. Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. This man is nominated for some broadcasting award because his show is one of the fastest growing shows before all this Club Shay Shay's takeoff stuff started. He's been the fastest growing show on YouTube. And it's a news show talking mainly about racial incidents, but he talks about other things too. But he exposes a lot of racial issues going on and keeps up with the story and through its conclusion. He'll give an update and go back. Hey, remember that time that officer slammed that girl up against the car? Well, she sued and she got this much. They settled, and now there's a whatever case, and they got fired, lost their job, blah blah blah. He does that, and it is amazing. The content is just flowing. And have you ever seen it?
No.
I'll send you a link, and you'll probably say, "Oh, I've seen this before." You
Man,
probably have
I
seen.
would
It's probably like shown
I
up in
would
the feed, and you probably didn't pay attention to it.
I would have remembered it. That's why I said that.
But he has a very distinctive look. So it's not a look. He doesn't look like everybody on podcasting. He wears a suit all the time. He has tie on. But anyway, it's just a good show. So that's in my 6 through 10 area.
Yeah,
Who are your honorable mentions?
I got the Joe Buttons podcast. I have
I
besides Joe
can't
Button.
can't stand
Yeah,
him.
I got Nightcap in there. I got It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace and OJ Simpson sometimes. And can't forget Stat Baby. Listen to that one. Who
I
else?
don't even watch it anymore.
Yeah, I watch it.
I
I
gave
think
him
it's,
3 shots, 3 chances.
yeah, I think it's funny that the stuff that they be saying and the stories that they be talking about that things they used to do back in the day. So I think that to me that's hilarious.
You
What's
got the
another?
Breakfast Club up there too?
Nah, I don't have a Breakfast Club. I'm gonna tell you what. I want to tell you about some locals that I listen. Well, they're from Philly, but they're not. All of them not in Philly right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna tell you about some of them. One of them, Clint Cooley has a podcast called "Music Is My First Love." No, music is my love language. Sorry, I said wrong. Music is my love language. And now
Mm-hmm.
he has a co-host on there, former musician named Case. You might remember Case, the
Yeah,
singer.
the
Yeah,
singer.
he has him on there now. And I think that's a very good thing. I think like I told him, I said I think that was a great free agent pickup. All right. That was a
Isn't
great
Case
pickup for
from
you.
Philly?
I don't know about that. But
I think he's
they in
from
LA.
Philly.
I don't know about that. I know they in LA right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they both in LA.
From Philly.
Another one, I'm gonna have to say is Chocolate Chip and Sip. I've been listening to Chocolate Chip and Sip when it was back to being 2 co-hosts. Now it's just one and some people in the background. I'm gonna say that. Some producers in the background.
I don't
But it
know
was
who
2
that is.
co-hosts at one point, and they used to this Stormy P and well, she no longer with him, so I ain't gonna say. But Stormy P is the main one on Chocolate Chip and Sip. But she had a co-host before, and they're no longer together.
Well, what
I
does
don't
she
know what
talk
the
about?
story is.
What's she talk about?
She talks about a lot of relationship stuff. To be honest with you, she talks a lot of relationship stuff. And Stormy P was when I was telling you had made a couple appearances on tonight's conversation.
Yeah, that's
What is
where
the
I heard her
radio
name
station?
from. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah.
And I like tonight's conversation. I'm starting to watch more of that. But you
Yeah.
know what I like? I like Podcast P. I like Paul George's podcast.
Okay.
I do. I watch it. I like him on the podcast. I like Draymond Green's podcast. I can tell you who I don't like. I don't like watching Micah Parsons on the podcast. Don't at all. He's not a good
Well,
podcast to me.
as as not him that I listen to. Actually listen to his brother. His
No.
brother actually does a podcast show with another guy named King. I can't think of the name right now, but they actually do a podcast show, and I like hearing people call me a little crazy for my football takes and things that I say, but them two are a little bit over the edge. Like they a little bit over the edge on they podcasting. But you know what? It's good for podcasting, and I'm not gonna be mad. I do like it. I listen to it. I listen to it a lot lately. Ever since I've been introduced to it. So they actually caught my ear. Another
You
one that I listen to is the Talk Heavy podcast. Now the Talk Heavy podcast, they read a letter like we read a letter, and they're trying to help people. All right. But when they read a letter, they go on a deep end. And I tell you the deep end. Like they swimming for sharks. You know what I mean? They go on a deep end. And they had a letter they had a letter that they read that a guy wrote them. He wrote them about being with his girl for a year, and the girl got a 7-year-old child that sleeps in the bed with him. and he trying to figure out how do he get the child out the bed. They went all the way on the deep end. Talking about some, he probably having sex on the bed with the child on it. I said they deep in deep sea fish.
I'm not even going. I don't even want to say what I'm thinking about that situation, but
I'd have kicked that kid out. He got to go.
I don't do strangeness, and that would be a red flag to me that maybe me and this person don't need to be together. I wouldn't try to kick the kid out. I just go on somewhere else.
So it just got okay. When I heard it, first thing I thought about was this 70-year-old child about to be real spoiled. Like he ain't even gonna ever take the trash out.
Right.
Like that's what I thought in my head. He ain't gonna have to take the trash out. He ain't gonna do nothing. Like his mom gonna do everything for him. He ain't gonna do nothing manly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought. They said that, but they went the deep end as well. Let me
tell you something. My son is 30 years old. My son has slept with me in the same bed twice in his life. From birth, twice. Right. One time because the power was out and he was a little boy. He was scared to sleep in the dark by himself, So I had him sleep in the room with me. Second time we were traveling and we slept in the same hotel room bed because we had 2 beds and 4 people. So we slept together. That's it. From birth, when I brought him home from the hospital, I had his bassinet in another room. It was not in a room with me.
Oh, it was in a room with me.
Now, at my mother's house, it was in my room, but I only stayed there about a week or 2. And then I went back home, maybe 3 weeks. I stayed at her house with a baby. Then I went to my apartment for the last 3 weeks when I was off 6 weeks. And the bassinet went in his room. Never had it in my room. I don't believe in it. I do not believe in babies sleeping in the bed with the parent. I don't believe in that. No, it sets a bad precedent and it's dangerous when they're first born because too many times I've heard these horror stories of parents with the newborn infant in the bed and they roll over and smother the child, don't know it, and they wake up and the baby's dead. People think that don't happen. It happens more often than you know. And that stuck with me. Well, I ain't never sleeping with my baby.
I only know one time.
Never.
Me and my daughter slept in the bed together. She was little. For some reason, she went in my room, fell asleep. So I went there. I fell asleep as well. Good 15, 20 minutes into it, she done rolled over and punched me. I said, no, you got to go. You got to go in your room. You got to go.
They do sleep. Some of these kids sleep wild. My grandson is turning into a wild sleeper. Like I'll go in there and look at him, his arm way over here and all kind of stuff. I'm like, what is he doing? He done rolled over. Now he's on the foot of the bed, about to fall off. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? But anyway, enough about that. I just do not believe in that. That's why when I was nursing, I didn't nurse in the bed because I didn't want to fall asleep. Nursing is relaxing. It makes you fall asleep. It can make you fall asleep. And I didn't want to fall asleep in the bed and then roll over and smother the boy. So no, I didn't do that. I got up, sat in the chair, did it, put him back in his bassinet and got in the bed. I don't care what time of day it was. When you are a parent, I feel you cannot give in to your own feelings. Everything is about that child. It don't matter how tired you are. If you tired and sleepy and you need to get up and do something with that child, you got to get up and do something with that child, period. No, all this. These young parents now, everything is about what they want. Yeah. Everything about what they want first.
Well, no, you know what it is? They didn't realize when they was humping around that you keep humping around, you're going to hump your way out of the spotlight. So ain't nobody gonna care nothing about you. All they gonna ask about is, wait a minute. like you was used to get gifts for Christmas and all that. Oh, that's not. We got the baby something. We ain't get you nothing.
Yeah, I try to do that. I try to do differently about that. I still give my son gifts and stuff, and
Mothers to do that to you, but everybody else ain't doing.
that's
Mothers and
right.
fathers will do that to you. Mothers
That's
and
true.
fathers will still make sure they take care of you. Hey, I know you're going through something. Here you go. I know how it is. Here you go. Nah, I know you're too proud for the expo. Here you go. I thank my parents for that. But everybody else, shit, we got the babysitter. Like, we got the babysitter.
Well, my only message is just don't sleep with the baby. Don't sleep in babies. Children should not be sleeping in the bed with the parents. Period.
I don't think children. Me, if you're too clingy to your child like that, I got to go. That's why I said you got to watch all that. You too clingy to your child, you got to watch all that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I watch all that.
I just
I
move
watch
on.
the interaction with
Mhm.
your child's father. I watch all that. I watch everything.
Well, like I said, I don't do strange behavior. I just don't. Mm-mm. No, you do something strange, I'm done. This is not gonna work out. Nice, you can still be friends, but this not gonna work out. I don't do strange.
Right.
But anyway, but yeah, that's all I got. Oh, there was another podcast I didn't mention that I wanted to mention to you to tell you to watch, and now I forgot the name of it. But anyway, I'll get your list of honorable mentions from you after the show so I can go back and watch them.
Yeah. Last one I watch a lot is Poor Minds. Pour Minds. Poor Minds. Two girls from Texas.
Yeah,
They
you mentioned
they
that to
also
me
talk,
before. I still haven't watched it.
they also talk about relationships as well and things they've been through when they went through the club. You know, I like they got some good interviews on there. They've been having some people on there that was like interesting. So I'm going to say I like them. They got to keep doing their thing. I like the direction they going in. I like it.
Oh, Gil's Arena. Do you watch Gil's Arena? I watch Gil's
Yeah.
Arena a lot.
As a matter of fact, on Nightcap, he is one of the ones I can't wait to see.
Yeah, yeah, he
I know
does
how
some
you feel
good
about
versions.
Ocho. I know how you feel about Ocho, but
Mm-hmm.
the other day they was talking about some. I think it was Jalen Green. Jalen Green got that 39-year-old pregnant. He only 21.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got a 39-year-old pregnant. He only
I haven't
21.
seen that episode yet.
Come to find out, the girl that he got pregnant, Gilbert Arenas used to have relations with. Yeah, you got to see that episode of Nightcap.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Shannon Sharp over there, and he just explaining everything. And Gilbert Arenas got this stone cold face. He like, Gil, why you looking like? Oh, Gil, don't you tell me, oh, no. He was like,
Oh Lord, I'm gonna
he
have to
was
watch
like,
it.
oh, he was
I'm
like,
gonna have to
oh,
watch
well, your research team ain't tell you? No.
Listen, let me
He was
tell
like,
you
I had
this.
no clue.
Let me tell you this. I like Gil Arenas, Gilbert Arenas. I like him. I liked him as a player. I like him. On his podcast, though, he deliberately says some of the most outrageous things just so people can click on it and hear it and talk about it. It's a strategy. I'm not saying it's a bad one. But
Oh, it ain't
people
just him.
often ask, how can he say that? He was a player. How can he say? Well, this is why, y'all. I'm telling you, that's the secret sauce. He doesn't believe half the stuff he says. He's
It ain't
saying it
just
for
him.
shock value.
Is what's the boy? The other boy that's on the show, McCabe.
Oh,
Is
Rashad McCants. Oh my
yeah.
God. Oh Lord. Let me tell you something. I had never, out of all the people on all these sports podcasts I watch, he is the number one person who I disagree with the most on anything he says, Rashad McCants. But when he went off on everybody talking about Kobe, I was like, he's 100% right. 100%. So I had to give him his props on that. I sent him a little message. I said, I'd give you your props on that. I've been saying this about Kobe for years. But anyway, yeah, Gil's Arena and Dreamers Pro. I watch Dreamers Pro a lot because I want to hear, because he breaks down a lot of these sports takes. But now he's starting to do things outside of sports, and I don't really care about his opinion on that. So I don't listen to that as much. And that's why they're not in my top 10 anymore. Plus, I don't like the way that he keeps vilifying Stephen A. Smith. I don't like that. I just don't like
Well,
some of the stuff he's saying.
people think if
Huh?
they take shots at Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, they'll get more clicks. I don't take shots at them. I just be trying to understand them. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't like him. So I don't watch it that much anymore as I used to. Do you watch Player's Choice
Sometimes, not
and
all the time.
Ticket TV?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say. Truth for the ticket. Them two fools right there. Oh my goodness. They have me
Now,
cracking up just don't get mad at each other. They be having me cracking up. Oh, they
who's the other person? It's Ticket and who?
and the truth.
Who's the truth? I don't know who that
The one
is.
you don't like. I don't even worry about it. I ain't gonna say because you don't like him. So don't even matter.
How do you know I don't like him?
But as soon as I say his name, I bet everything in my pocket, your face will change.
Oh, is it Chill?
It's Paul Pierce.
I haven't seen that one. Oh, you talking? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. You talking about Truth in the Ticket? You talking about Big Ticket? You talking about Kevin Garnett and Paul? Yes,
Yeah,
I
Paul
watched
Pierce.
that show. I watched that show. I can't
Yeah,
stand Paul Pierce, but let me tell you why I love the show. Because KG gets out. I mean, he gets out on Paul Pierce a lot and puts him in his place and tells him what a fool he being and a hater he being right now and how stupid his takes are. I
because
love it.
he was like, when you start falling in love with LeBron, he was like, he keep calling him Lord. He keep doing his thing, Lord. What you talking about, Lord? And God, everything just Lord. Lord? It's like, I thought Lloyd was his first name. I said, is his first name really Paul? Like,
Let me tell you
I didn't
something.
know that's a Chicago thing. I didn't know that.
Let me tell you something. KG is as hood as they come still.
Yeah.
That's the thing that surprises me about watching him on the podcast. He just is hood, like he's right back at 18, just coming into the league. He just the same. He is the same. And I'm like, wow. But it works for him. But when I said Ticket TV, that's not what I wasn't talking about them.
Oh, I just heard a ticket.
Ticket TV on, if you catch him on YouTube, he's on Player's Choice a lot. He's one of them on the panel a lot. And he's the one that was a former NBA player. So when he goes on Player's Choice, it's just when I watch Player's Choice, though, I have to be in the mood to hear a lot of arguing because that's all they do. They debate and argue. That's all they do. And Ticket be getting out on people. Some of the stuff he says is quite unnecessary. But what I really like about his podcast, Ticket TV, is he always comes with the breaking news. Something will happen, and all of a sudden, I'll get a notification. Ticket TV, breaking news. So and so and so and so, so and so. So that lets me know what's going on, so I know to look at it later. So that's why I like Ticket TV. I don't like Chill. I don't like Mars. I don't like any of them other people on Player's Choice, really, because they don't know what they're talking about. Especially that Chill, because Chill is almost old as me. But he's too enamored with these players today for me. He doesn't give an honest and real take. And he thinks he knows it all, and he doesn't. But anyway. Do you watch Player's Choice? Did you say you watch Player's Choice sometime?
Not all the time, just sometimes.
Yeah, just sometimes. I can their shows are like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours long sometimes. I'm not sitting up watching all that. I'm doing that. But anyway, you got any more you want to talk about? Any more shows?
No, that's about it. I like to thank everybody for coming out. You got any last words, Chocolate Girl?
My last words are, if you're going to do a podcast, just be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Be authentically you. And it'll work. What doesn't work if you come across fake on a podcast, people are not going to watch you. So just be sure to be yourself. The one thing I appreciate about Channing Crowder, he is authentically himself. Even though I don't like some of the stuff he says, he is true to himself, and I appreciate that about him. And I kept watching him, so because of that. But anyway, if you're going to commit to a podcast, you got to be committed for real. You can't fake on it. You're either going to do it or you're not.
I agree with that.
You have any last words for today? Final words, I should say, not last words.
Final words for the day. I'm definitely going to agree with what you just said. I 100% agree with that. And I really want to tell everybody, don't be scared either. Go out there and put it. You ain't going to have the best. Don't think I need all the best stuff. You ain't going to have all the best. You can have all the best stuff, still have a sloppy show. Mm-hmm. But you got to get yourself out there because it's hard to keep an audience. Mm-hmm. People are coming to see you, and they're going to take their time to click on you. What are you going to say to keep them involved? So don't be scared. And I listen to a lot of podcasts out there, just to let you know. Even the ones that y'all don't think anybody watching, sometimes I'm listening and watching. May not comment because I be doing a lot of other things.
Right.
But I'll be listening.
Mm-hmm. And I listen to a lot of our friends' podcasts. All the people in our circle, I listen to everybody's podcast. Everyone.
That's right. Off the top, Buck Flair show. Mm-hmm.
Off the Alphabet top, show. Flair, Why Wednesday, Marcus Alphabet's show, yep. Alphabet's football show. Uh-huh. Yep. I watch Andre when he does his Midnight Madness. Andre Robinson.
Torch Robinson.
Yeah. When he does his Midnight Madness or midnight show, overnight show, I watch that. I get the notification. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I see the notification that he's on live still. I'll turn to it and watch it. I watch the Side Jawn. I watch our replays. I watch Talk Your Is Tuesday and Stay Tuned when I'm not on the show. I still watch them.
Yeah.
Y'all crack me up on Why Wednesday. Y'all crack me up on Why Wednesday. I want BJ and the Sam Sports Network to bring back What's Next podcast on Mondays.
I think it's coming back next. I think it's next month.
And then June just wrapped up Monday morning quarterback. Love
that. Got one last show.
Well, yeah, he got one last show for the Super Bowl. I forgot. Yeah. And then they do Off the Top Sports. They do Off the Top Sports, and I watch that. I may not comment all the time, like you said, but I do watch it. Yeah, good show.
Even what's that show with Be Strilling them? I even watch theirs. I don't always comment, but I watch theirs.
Oh, I can't watch theirs anymore because they blocked me from the page, so I can't watch it. And their show is private, so I can't watch it.
All right, never mind.
I'm so sad.
Elise Jeffers now has a new show that she does Friday night.
I thought I saw that, and I do still watch TMA. I'm sorry, I said Sweet Love TMA. I still watch Sweet Love TMA whenever they do a show. They need to do more shows because I miss y'all.
Right, they do. But Elise Jeffers has moved on, and she's doing a show now. And I told her that she was too animated to be behind the camera. Told her that a long time ago.
It was her and another girl.
Yeah, I forgot her name right now.
Do you remember what the name of the show is?
Sorry about that.
I forgot the name of the show because I only saw like a blip one time, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I need to make sure I watch her show." But I don't
watch every show they had, but I still forgot their names.
Okay, well, at least if you in the comments, put the name of your show in there, dear, so I can know what it is. Right. But yeah, I watched Sweet Love TMA. Love y'all. Please do another show soon. Another episode. Yeah. Please, ladies. If you need me to come on, I'll come on. And then Sugar Trash. And let's not forget Sugar Trash.
We waiting on Sugar Trash to come back.
Oh, Miss B, she coming back. B coming back with a show. It's supposed to start back up in February, I think she told me. So she'll be back on Friday nights doing her show as well. Now, here's the thing. Time with Sean. Where you at, bruh? I missed those episodes, Sean. Where you at? Bring that back. And somebody needs to do a trivia show. I'm gonna have to do this trivia show myself.
My Flair did one.
I know, but I'm gonna have to do it myself because I like trivia. Not just sports trivia. I just love trivia. I just think trivia is fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
That's all we got. Thank you for coming out today. Yes. Thank y'all for coming out today. We want to let y'all know that. And as usual, God bless. Great day.